You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No calming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to Super Mega Crash Beyond. I am your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Well, happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, because we got to get into the rage of it all, man.
I can't do it right, I guess. I don't know how to,
I can't
nail the raw.
I can't do it accurately at all because I'm not a woman. But someone who can,
Someone who can.
someone who can is Lace, obviously. But also, we have a guest today who's bringing this topic with her. And first time on the show, on this show.
Oh, yes.
She joined us on Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo a few times. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we did a podcast together inspired by Weeaboo for a while. And things got busy and we had to put a pin in it because things were getting just busy.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Had
But
a
anyway,
lot going on, yeah.
But anyway, my wife Katrina is here. Welcome, Katrina. And she's just, yeah.
Yeah. No, hello.
So you have brought a topic with you today, which you kind of have brought to me, and then we have now introduced it to Lace. And this was very much in the vein of a topic, anytime we've had guests, we haven't had a whole lot, but we say bring your topic, whatever you want to talk about. And you brought something that I don't know if I can relate to, but I can sympathize. How's that? Does that?
Sure.
Is that?
You can understand. I'm sure you've seen situations that have happened.
Yeah.
Heard any woman in your life tell you anything at some point. You've probably heard. Unfortunately, that I have to say it like that. But yeah.
And even to some degrees, as we were listening to these songs, as we were watching some of the videos and things, yeah, there's some relatability, and I even feel like I'm gonna equate to something later on when I talk about relatability. I don't want to bring it up just yet, but anyway, yeah. So let's bring up what we were talking about. You call it feminine rage rock. That is the term for it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, feminine rage music.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
not
true.
necessarily.
I guess they weren't always rock.
Yeah. They're not all rock specifically.
Okay, so that's my just kind of basing it off of that, but yeah, you're right, because there was at least a few songs. You have this innate thought, or at least I did, when you first hear the first song. It's a little heavy. It's like,
well, I don't know which one was the first one you listened to.
Yeah, I guess we'll go through that. There are levels to this, so they're not
levels.
all of what they are. So
yeah, you're not wrong.
my initial thought is that a lot of these would be think it was like death metal, just but with a woman going about whatever she's feeling.
Yeah.
But it
does
wasn't
hit
that.
different.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I know that there's a lot of feminine rage, well, just rage in general, happening with Linkin Park right now. But this is not the same. This is not the same that we're talking.
It's a different rage.
Yeah.
So explain it to the audience, like what specifically this is. Like, what is this genre of music? I mean, it sounds like it defines itself, but just for those who can't understand.
Wrap their head around it. Whammons. The whammons doing something.
Yeah. The Weemans.
So what is it?
Well, obviously a lot of it came out around the time of Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that I came across was Delilah Bond, and it was her Dead Men Don't Rape. And it came out literally right after Roe v. Wade overturned. It was like her addressing the situation in the United States, even though she's not from the United States. And the clip that I saw was live, and her singing to people like, somewhere in Europe. And they were talking about, or she was talking about, rallying all the women together for the women in the United States because their rights had just been stripped away and everything. And it hit hard because I remember when Roe v. Wade was overturned, we talked about it, and it was, we're not going to have any more kids, but it's still hard.
Oh, trust me.
Especially having daughters.
I never planned on having them, and I was emotional. It's just, you lose rights, and it's like, what the actual...
right?
Yeah.
What?
Rights that literally all of us grew up with. We've had them for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Well, it was like, we're worse than our parents, which is like, excuse me? I thought we were supposed to keep going forward. I don't...
Right?
Okay. All right.
But I don't know. There was something about it that like struck a chord, and it made me emotional. And then I started seeing more of her music, and the songs that I have saved on my playlist, they're all about, feminine rage and how women
which there's
are
plenty
treated in
of now
society.
over the last several years. Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's like, I don't know. I guess with social media, more women have found their voices, and it makes the rest of us not feel alone. And I think that's the thing that's so powerful about it and makes it so emotional, is because you can listen to these songs as a woman, as long as you're not a very closed-minded woman.
Which there
Takes
are.
all kinds.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of them in my family, unfortunately.
Well, let's talk about the one that you brought up first. Dead Men
Yeah.
Don't Rape.
Yes.
Because now,
Which I didn't know that.
well, yeah. I mean,
No.
you feel like that should be.
Well, no, when she said, like that, you said she was singing it in Britain or whatever, because she does have that line, like, you're from the UK, like it doesn't affect you, but in the same ship we're sinking. I didn't actually catch on to that then until, well, you just explained that that's where I guess the song debuted. And I was just like, oh, okay. But I mean, other countries do protest for each other. So, yeah, help us out, man. Whatever, like
Right?
solidarity,
So now that you said this was the first one that you actually heard, it just kind of came across your eye holes one day, your ears?
Yeah.
Literally all of them I have found due to TikTok.
Okay.
Which is
so-
one of the reasons why I absolutely love TikTok.
And TikTok,
Okay.
that is, the bane of government existence. They hate it. Spying
Well, now
on us.
if they hear that we're going to get feminine rage off of it, they'll definitely cancel that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
We'll get a law like, oh, what? Chinese and women? We're done. We're done.
So,
Can't do it.
as you said, this was released right after the Roe v. Wade decision kind of came through. What about the lyrics? I guess let's kind of go through some of the lyrics that kind of are impactful, that I don't know, hit you the hardest.
Oh, well, first I'd have to look up the lyrics.
Oh, well, I thought somebody had lyrics readily available.
I mean, I do. I wrote down the ones
Lace
that I thought for me.
Okay, well, then
so I
you
didn't know.
guys can discuss it through that lens,
Yeah.
since Lace did some
Or if
homework.
you well, I mean, I have to look up lyrics and stuff when I'm listening to certain songs. I just sometimes I can't hear the words. Like I don't know, it gets muffled, or like I think I know what they're saying, and then like if you let my brain replace the word, I'll have the lyrics wrong for the rest of time. I will assume the artist does not know the lyrics because I am saying it wrong now for so long, But yeah, I mean, I kind of got that feeling from listening to it that it had to have happened right around that time because of the topic being so fresh and just the lyrics being so kind of pinpointed to that particular thing. But, you saying that within the UK, one of the ones for me, it was like when she was going on about how when guns have more rights than an effing girl.
Mm-hmm.
I've said that a lot. I'm like, oh, we keep protecting those guns, that Second Amendment. That's just so much more important than anything else in this country, you know? Then when you start to really think about how you're less protected than an inanimate object
Yep.
as a human being, like I don't know. I can't wrap my brain around a thought process, man, woman, whatever you are, to think that anyone, any human is less than for what?
Yeah.
For what? Like, it always got me very angry every time I hear way more rage about taking my guns than you do about our rights.
And see, that's a detail I guess I didn't pick up on in the song either. Maybe a lyric that I didn't quite catch because, that's fucked.
Isn't it? Isn't it though?
I mean, to really, really think about that for a moment, that is completely fucked. So, wow. I mean, hell, even infants seem to have more protection than women right now.
No. Fetuses do.
Fetuses, sorry, yes.
Yeah. Once
fetuses.
it's out.
Yeah, once
don't
you're
get
out in
it.
the world, you're free and clear.
Yeah. Once you're out in the world now, you've got to figure it out to make tax money.
Unless you're a white male who, at that point you're doing good, but you've got a 50-50 shot of being gay. So then at that point, I don't know, things could go bad for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so her other song, she's got another song called "I Wish a Bitch Would." Now,
Yes.
you played that one for me, and when I listened to that one, it didn't seem to be as ragey or as angry, but it still kind of had that lyrically, I guess, tonally, it didn't have that rage like too much, but
I don't know. I felt it.
well, but I guess I mean lyrically it had more like that's where the rage was, because I did have some like I even told you what this made me think of, but I'll say that in a minute. So where did this, like, I'm assuming you just found this because you were on her page or
Yes.
you saw the ones.
It was like one of those where somebody duetted it or something. So they were kind of like mouthing over the lyrics like they were singing it. And I did not realize it was Delilah at first.
Okay.
So when I looked it up and I realized it was her, I was like, oh my God. So excited.
Here we go. I'm on it. Yeah.
This one, I think it's like the second half of the song, but I think you missed these lyrics because you had got up to go get water or something.
I
So
may
I
have.
wasn't sure if you had heard it. But it was for me, the most impactful part because it calls out how women are always told, or when they're sexually assaulted or something, they're asked, well, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
And she points that out and she's like, what does it even mean? She was only 11 years old wearing a hoodie and jeans.
I actually wrote that lyric down too.
Yet, right? It's so like powerful, and it took my breath away the first time that I listened to it and just made me sob because you can, I mean, I feel like anybody can envision something like that. Like, a child that age who wears those clothing, and just the idea that it could be that girl one day, it will,
And what
the
can we do
chance
about
is
it?
out there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, I
Yeah.
mean, if we fight back, we can get in trouble.
Well, we're bitches. We're hormonal. Why is she
Yeah,
being
we're
so
bitches.
hysterical today? Is she on her period? Oh my
Right?
God. What's wrong with her? Why can't she chill? We
Yes.
just all of our emotions just keep getting passed off as some hormonal thing. Like,
I literally
we've seen it throughout history.
I literally had a discussion with somebody on Facebook this morning about something like that. Because somebody had pointed out about how autism and ADHD in girls has like skyrocketed over the last few years.
Oh, you mean when they
And
started paying attention and seeing that
Thank
it presented
you.
differently?
Thank you. And that's what I
I'm a
pointed
victim
out.
of that one. So,
Because I was like,
Yeah,
it's
this
not
gets
that
me
it
mad.
went up. It's just
Nope.
that girls started getting taken seriously instead of being told you're just anxious or depressed or hormonal. It's just because of your period. And it's frustrating. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love this genre of music.
Yeah, like listen, and I mean, and not only that, I know we're probably better about it today, but I grew up in a time where society still, women were, you sat down, you chilled, you been a good girl, don't run around, that's not, boys are boys, they're allowed to be, they're just always going to be hyper, they're always going to be this, you know, so like you internalize that. We internalize all of it. I'm the problem. I need to sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
I should be quiet. Well, everyone gets angry at me, or well, clearly it is in my head. I must be upset. I must be too sensitive. I must not understand. Because that's what you get told over and over and over and over and over. And then you wonder why we lose our mind.
Right?
Like it was our fault somehow. You gaslit us for generations, and then now we're losing our mind. Like, see, she's hormonal.
Like I told Steven, they wonder why there was an entire TV show called Snapped, which was just about women killing their partners.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame. I love that song. You got to put that on every once in a while.
I do want to take this opportunity to at least relate to
Defend yourself?
something.
No, I'm joking.
No. I
I'm
defend.
kidding.
Defend nothing. No, I wanted to use this because you mentioned in that song there was the lyric about the 11-year-old girl.
Yes.
What she's wearing, all that. Just the other day, I felt like I had kind of this moment, like emotional. I don't even want to say like I realized something, but it hit me a certain way, you know?
Some epiphany out of nowhere.
Kind of. So we were watching Inside Out 2 on Disney Plus, and no, not a sponsor. And, I watched the first one. I got it. I appreciated what they were trying to do with the emotional things and whatnot. And this one, it got a little bit more, it got deeper with the emotions, because now we're getting into more complex emotions, like the girl is growing up. So now she's dealing with anxiety and embarrassment and, all these boredom, just teen stuff.
Yeah.
And the approach they took to anxiety, just like taking over everything. Like, oh my God, like how accurate all that felt, because knowing those emotions, dealing with those emotions on a regular basis, we as adults get it. But they're positing this as a child just now being introduced to these emotions and having to deal with them, and just the pressure it puts on this child. All I could do is see my youngest in that situation, because she is a girl. She is approaching her teenage years. And then when I put her in that position, then I see all my other kids, and then I see what they went through. And I got emotional sitting there thinking, did I attribute to any of this, stress that they're going through, their anxiety going through the roof? Was I wasn't helpful for them being a place that they could come to, because I don't know what all they're going through, but it seemed so relatable because I understood it through this lens that they were painting, and it was just like, God damn it. And I hurt for them. I just wept for them because I don't want them to go through that, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No. Wow. Oh, well, we can. We've just all got to collectively just keep trying to do better.
Yeah.
I know. Instead of making things great again, maybe we can just move forward and progress and.
Yeah, what is that all
that
about?
stuff.
Progression.
I know. what? Like what? I know. I'm being silly.
Yeah, but I guess
It's my little lady brain. I just,
But in that regard of just relating to your child and seeing what they're going through, I'm also, in turn, trying to understand from a woman's perspective, because there was at least one of these that I know I did, and I'm trying to remember which one we had the other video, the labor. What was that about?
Labor.
Yeah.
It is, it's about a lot of different things.
And I'm trying to remember which one, like, it's almost like it smacked me upside the head. Was it the one with the video
where she was like setting the table and doing all that?
That might have been it. That might have been one of them.
That is Labor by Paris Paloma.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this one, because I think yeah, as I watched that one, as I listened to the lyrics, I was just like, yeah, all right. So like it affected me in some ways. So I want to know here about how it affected all of you, or both of you.
Well, for me, I can't relate to it in a way of a lot of women do, in the sense of the dynamic between the husband and the wife. Because I will say I have an amazing husband.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the perspective of always being told from as far back as I can remember, always being told, you're going to make an amazing mother. You have baby making hips. You're going to grow up and have so many babies, and you're going to be so loved, and you're going to find an amazing man, and he's going to take care of you, and all these things from as literally early as I can freaking remember, all the way up until I got with my husband.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't doubt it.
I don't know. It's that pressure that I feel like women are put under, because even when you get to a certain age, like if you're in your freaking late 20s, early 30s, even today, you still get labeled as like an old maid. And like women who are in their 30s who are having babies, it's like, how are you doing that? Why are you so old doing that? You're not fucking old. You're in your prime.
And it's like, why do you think we age differently? Have you looked in the mirror, sir?
Right.
You've also gotten a little old. Yeah, no, I get very sensitive about this stuff. I really do. But go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know. It hits me different in different ways every time I listen to it. Because I do feel like I'm a sympathetic person to others. I do cry over literally anything that's even semi-emotional.
No, that's healthy. I need more of that in my life. I should allow myself to cry more.
I mean, I can send you all kinds of sad videos.
Well, the thing is like, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation than what we're having now. But yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those songs that I feel like it hits different when you listen to it in the different ways she has presented it, because she has her music video, which is the one we watched last night. She has live videos where all the women and people in the crowd are all singing with her, and it's like powerful and gives you chills. And I told you about one last night where she took, and I don't know if you know this, Lace, Paris on her TikTok took all of the duets that women, men, LGBTQ plus, everybody who has duetted her songs and or sang to them or anything like that, and put them all together. So you have all these people singing with her as she's singing the song, and it's so powerful. Like watching their emotions, because you have some that are crying, you have some that are visibly angry, you have some that are just kind of there, just going with the flow.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know, it's powerful. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. It gives you chills. It tingles my brain.
No, I understand that, because I think that was the first one I had watched of the list, and I put on the video, and I think the first thing I did was like, oh, wow. Like that whole video and everything, like I almost started to feel emotional because I don't know, like you've been in those situations, you know what she's talking about, and just I don't know, good emotion in the voice too, because the whole video with the way it was setting it up, I guess we're like in the turn of the century or, Victorian era or whatever. But you never see her face for the longest time. You just see this guy at this head table, this woman placing food everywhere, running around, doing whatever needs to be done. And then right when she was basically talking about if our love died, would that be the worst thing? She sits down and now you see her face. And it's just like, I don't know. I think the decision to do it that way made it so much more powerful, because like, she's just doing her stuff in the background. We're not paying attention to her. We don't, it doesn't matter which woman is setting it around. It's just my woman doing it for me. doing these things so you can have your fantasy of a white picket fence, so you can sit around and not have to lift a finger. And I thought, even for you, if I had a daughter, I'd watch and couldn't do anything about it, because that's the way life is. I would just have to watch her go through this whole thing. And you can kind of attribute that a lot to things like today, even with like the rise of, in the early 2000s, I'll put this in quotations, like journalism from like, you know, TMZ and all that stuff, with how, oh, but she's doing this and she needs to do that and we need to follow her around. And, you know, and it's just like, this is what I'm just here to be your, okay. All right. You know, just here to be your labor, do these things for you so you don't have to do anything, you know. And the nymph, virgin, nurse, servant. And then when she was talking about being, let's see if I can find that lyric here, because that was the one where it was like, I almost cried. Because it's like she has to do all of it. Basically, the line was something about now she's also his therapist, his comfort, his basically, I am everything no one gives a crap about if I matter at all in this. I've just got to take care of it. Oh, you're sad, honey? Let me coddle you.
Was it
You're
the
hungry?
really long part where she's like one after another after another? Yes. That like, oh.
24/7 baby machine, so he can have the picket fence of his dream, picket white fence of his dreams. Yeah. And then it's not an act of love if you make her.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
That was the one that line. I was just like, shit. Yeah.
And
But baby, it's for us both. Is it though?
I also want to throw this out here, if I haven't already, at some point in the show's history. Just to make a point be known, okay? Because as we've kind of pointed out, like, Lace doesn't have kids, but she has opinions because she's a woman, you know, about this.
And I mean,
she can relate. She can understand.
And I can relate to what she was just talking about, too, with like being brought up, told all those things.
Right.
Like, oh, you've no idea how well into, oh, you'll change your mind. Oh, when you get older, you'll change your mind. And then I got older. Oh, well, you know, it'll still have, you'll still have time. I don't want the time.
Right.
Why are you guys trying to make me feel like that's the only thing that I was meant to do here? That what I know, I'm a crazy cat lady, right? I don't have an investment in the country. But like, why did you assume that that's what I was just, well, you're a woman and you're on the earth. Why aren't you breeding?
Yeah. But like, why do you have to? There's plenty of women in this world that can't. And they're okay.
And now, are they selfish too? Because I've been called selfish my whole life. And I'm sorry, if I'm selfish, should I have kids then? Ma'am, sir?
I will always stand by this. Having children, unless, like, as of right now, with certain rights being taken away from women in certain states. So some of those women have no choice but to have those children now. But if you go out of your way to have a child, having a child is always a selfish decision. Not having a child is not selfish.
I mean, I'm never going to tell anyone otherwise, but I mean, my angry answer was always like, oh, so like me breeding, thinking I need more humans on the earth that look like me and think like me, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, like, just leave me alone. I'm happy. Raise your babies. Go do you, man. Just,
I mean, honestly, think about it. She's got a point. It is selfish. We're bringing more people into this fucking world.
You are
as far as I'm concerned, you all owe me more carbon. Just saying. No, kidding.
Anyway,
I mean, and that calls myself selfish. Myself selfish. Wow,
I'm completely selfish. Look how many I've had. And what I was trying to bring up, I got them
good genes. I got to keep them going. You know.
And what I was trying to bring up, at least with this point, that I do have so many daughters, is that any man who, like, I feel like men should, in general, just be empathetic. But, you know, I know that's difficult for some. But any man that has a daughter, I feel should be very sympathetic to all of this, because you have a way to relate. You have a way to see how these decisions will affect someone you know directly. Even though you are probably married and you have a spouse, not saying, okay, if you're a straight couple, sorry. Or you're a lesbian couple, that's a double whammy for you. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, From the man perspective, because men stupid, and we are. I'm
Well, if you're a man who already held those beliefs, you probably already assumed that's what your daughter's duty was supposed to be anyway, is just to get married. And I don't know, depending on where you're coming from. I think a lot of this is more religion, more like a, you know, like that's what we're supposed to do. And those, the fundamentalists, you know, who like, it's the Bible, 100%, everything is real. You got to follow it, you know? And so it's,
even though, you know, Jesus and the Bible told us to love everybody, including the whores and the poor and the immigrants and, you know, literally everybody.
you can love them, but still like, this is your place.
Yeah.
I was brought up that way. And the one verse I remember always getting like quoted, it's like just going to be burned into my brain, was like 1 Timothy 2:12, where he's like, I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man, blah, 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 something about she's to remain quiet or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to want to be part of that religion?
Right?
Yeah, fuck that.
I was put here to what? So, like, why would I want to worship a God who put this whole subsect of humans here to just serve you? But he loves me, and he's good.
Mm-hmm.
Your life here will be amazing if you just follow Jesus Christ and his teachings.
No. That is one thing I will defend. I'm not religious anymore. But Jesus is nowhere as bad as God in the Bible.
Okay.
And I will forever separate them.
Aren't they always the same, though? The Trinity,
what they
the
say.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
That's what
blah,
Christians
blah, blah.
like to say until you point out that, you know, Jesus was okay with literally everybody. And even questioned his dad why he had to die. So, I mean.
So he didn't get sent to hell for that? Oh,
You
but
know,
he's a man. That's okay. We'll teach you.
Jesus can question his dad, but we can't.
Well, he still got told not to
if it would have been
question
like,
him.
you know, a woman, it would have been like, well, you're not allowed to ask that question. Just die.
No.
Like,
Yeah,
okay,
Oh, yeah,
that's
and
sad.
you're a witch at that point, okay?
Well, I am. You're right.
plus, I feel like if any reason to not want to follow the Bible is the fact that God impregnated a 14-year-old girl.
And
And
what
let me
about
guess,
that?
she was treated so well.
Yeah,
She was. I heard people just brought her in and hugged her and just loved her to death because she was just doing God's work. She never got mistreated for it at all.
Yeah.
Never got called any names.
Never.
Her husband was cool with it, I'm sure. Just all of a sudden, she's pregnant one day. You know? Yeah.
It's great.
Wonderful stuff we're talking about here. Let's move on to...
Hey, you know what? No, that's a perfect segue for the next song.
Okay, what's the next song?
Okay.
Don't Cry for Your Daughter's Eve.
All right, let's talk about this one because this was another one that had a video
Yeah.
to it. Explain this song and video.
Okay, so this one is, you know, a call out of the patriarchy and definitely religion.
Mm-hmm.
And how men control religion, and through their control of religion, they control their wives, who control their daughters, you know, who just, the trickle-down effect.
Right.
And it calls out how throughout history, women are blamed or always painted as the bad guy in these situations. And now if you go back and look at it, that's not how it was, even in mythology. And it calls out all of those, including the very first, which was Eve. You know, the whole she ate the apple or ate the fruit from the tree and all that type of shit, which I call bull crap.
What?
That's why men have the apple stuck in their throats. They ate it and then fucking lied about it.
But he got to go to heaven, though, because he was seduced. He was tempted.
Sure.
Men don't have self-control, so we have to coddle them.
So
Even though, you know,
I sent this video to Katrina, and there was like these hardcore atheists. They have this show, I guess, on TikTok or probably on YouTube or whatever, and they are like snipers. Yes. Okay, very, very specific. Like they have their arguments set and ready to go. So somebody comes up and they're just like, "Hey, here's what I think. And they're like, all right, so let me ask you this. Blam. And then they lay out some truth bombs. And then, of course, the one answering can never answer directly. Because that's the biggest issue we have in this country anymore. Answer yes or no. Is this what you think? Yes or no? Well, I think
they only learned the parroting talking point.
right, but you can't say a yes or a no. Very simple. It's
That's
or you're
a
not.
huge problem.
A yes or a no, and they can't do it. So it was. What was it they were talking about? I think it was. Yeah, no, it was the Garden of Eden. This guy laid it out point blank. He said, "Okay, so hear me out." Talking to a priest or a preacher or minister, whatever, one of those people, and just said, "All right, so
a man of God."
He says, "So you're telling me that men have free will, right? But God has a plan. Which is it?" And he's pointed out the tree, the apple tree. And he's like, so he put it right there in the garden, right beside them, tempting them. Doesn't sound like free will. It's like, well, they have the freedom to choose. And it's like, yes, but God could have also put that tree somewhere the fuck else.
Or not at all.
Or not at all. But he put it specifically right there, knowing...
Because he loves you.
Knowing he's going to eat it. Therefore, he has no free will. Because if you know he's going to eat it, and you put it right there, where's the free will?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's like putting drugs next to a junkie and being like, they won't touch it. You've got free will. No, they're going to.
Well, is it even really a choice if you're presented with heaven or eternal damnation?
Yeah.
It's like, well, of course I don't want to burn for the rest of forever. However, forever. Like, you can't even wrap your brain around forever, you know? But like, is that a choice? That's like that joke. I think I said it to you too, where it's like Jesus is at the door and he's knocking and the other person's like, and he's like, let me in. And the other person's like, why? And he's like, because of what I'll do to you if you don't let me in. Is that a choice? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know. Look, I was brought up in it, guys. I was definitely, so I get it. I used to be all the way up through my teens and then until my 20s when, I don't know, life hit.
All of us have been there.
And so I don't want to judge people who do. If you find comfort in it or whatever and stuff, like, that's fine. Just leave me out of it. That's all I ask. You don't need to mission to me. It's okay.
Well, I mean, all right, yeah. Katrina, I mean, you can point this out because when we got together, like I was already like had kind of dropped religion to the curb, but she was still kind of in it. So, I mean, you can kind of speak to that. I didn't feel like I influenced her. Like I wasn't being like, "Oh, you're fucking stupid because you believe in Jesus."
Well, I hope not. Yeah, I hope not.
No, I never pushed that on her.
He actually came to church a couple times, like to come to church.
You're
with
trying,
me.
yeah.
Like I was raised. The church that we went to was the church that our families literally met at. His uncle started preaching there the year I was born. So his family has literally known me since I was fresh out the vajayjay. And I don't know. Growing up, I found comfort in it because it was always, well, if something bad happened to me as a child, well, I would be an angel. I would be fine. You know, I'd be in heaven with all my family and all that crap. And I was religious all the way up until we lost our daughter when I was pregnant and I went in and all of that. I remember looking at Stephen and just asking him why God would take my baby from me. And that was the end of it, because at that point I realized that because there wasn't any God.
And we kept getting told, you know, the people who like to comfort you saying it's all part of God's plan.
Oh, it was meant to be bullshit? Yeah,
Oh,
that
no.
helps.
Right there is the most insulting fucking comment. And I even called that shit out, I think, on Facebook because we started getting all this. And I laid out like this big fucking like,
Yeah.
anybody who wants to say that, I understand your intentions, but you need to realize how fucking insulting it is. Because we want the child here. I'm sorry that interferes with his fucking plan. But, you know, we were kind of emotionally invested at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a woman that was my dad's neighbor, has known me since I was probably 9, 10 years old.
Mm.
When she found out about it, she literally looked at me and said it was a good thing because it was part of God's plan, and that it probably saved us pain from down the line because she could have grown up and got raped or murdered or
my
something bad
God.
like that happen. So he saved us that pain. And all I can remember thinking of is like, fuck you. And what about all the other women and little girls who have been raped and fucking murdered? Like, that shit made me so mad.
I mean, I'm seething for you right now to be told that. And not only that, to keep saying it was his plan. So what? So you got to keep yours. You know, like it's probably somebody who has a healthy child already, been raising them. Well, you know. So you're saying God said your kid was more important to keep around, or at least that's probably where my brain would go. I don't know if that's where yours would, but that would be one of the things that I'd be like, oh, it's part of his plan, but F me. I'll just go F myself. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah. The other one too that we get now is, well, if you'd have had her, you wouldn't have had your other kid. It's like, well, yeah, but I wouldn't have known about the other kid had the other one survived. Right. So
yeah,
it's just like alternate timeline, asshole. I get it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
There could have been another timeline where we had twins, or you know, I could have been the Duggar family and pushed out 20. We're not in that timeline though.
Yeah. So anyway.
You know?
What?
But no, I can feel you there. But yeah, back to the song. So don't cry over your daughter's Eve.
I guess, was there anything more about the song that I may have missed or anything?
Oh, there's a lot.
Needed to touch on because I felt like there was a very big. It felt like it was touching on a lot.
I mean, yeah, it basically follows Eve and how the world is turned against her, how we have literally painted her as the fucking mother of our suffering. Like, I would
she's
assume
the root cause.
Lace has been told the same, that, you know, she has Eve's curse. You know, you bleed every month because Eve ate the apple, which I never understood, because having a child is supposed to be a miracle. Being a woman and being able to carry life in you is a miracle. But yet bleeding every month, which is what literally makes you be able to do that, is a curse.
And nobody could just figure out how this was just bullshit coming out of someone's butt one day. Like, I mean,
right?
think about it. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
All right, you know,
but no,
and that's
I mean,
the reason why we're crazy too.
Yeah, it shows other women through history when she has like a kind of like labor. They have a long, drawn out little. I don't know. What
especially towards the end where they're naming off a lot of them.
Yes, but it starts out with Eve. That's saying she's mother to the millions because, you know, she's literally supposed to be where all of humanity started. But yet, like, nobody loves her. Nobody cares about her. She's just, you know, the one that started all of this. We would have had everything if she hadn't ate the apple.
The
and
reason
then it goes
humanity
on to show other
fell.
women. Yes, literally.
Is what it is. We had no sin, no nothing, until she seduced him into eating the apple with her. Like,
yeah.
And it's really, really funny that this is the first
didn't
story.
God just make her from his rib? Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I'm pointing out. Like, what? So you created her from him, but she's flawed. I thought God didn't make mistakes. What the fuck?
Well, he already made a mistake because Eve wasn't Adam's first wife.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on which religious or not I can't
it's a construct for sure.
Construct, there we go.
Yeah.
Lilith was Adam's first wife.
Yeah. If you want to believe in the vampire lore and all that.
Vampire
I mean,
lore.
it's more interesting, if I'm honest, than just two naked people who ate apple in an orchard one day and went and put on fig leaves, you know, like,
right?
That's more interesting to me anyway, is Lilith being around. But yeah, and especially how it points out how we've managed to, and we've all seen this too, women turning on other women for the same thing. Because one of her lyrics was, I'd help you, but I risk taking your place.
Yep.
And it's like, it's true. I mean, we see it now. Now, again, everyone's allowed to say and believe or whatever makes you happy or whatever, but we see it now with how often have you heard like women just cut down other women worse?
Oh yeah.
You know, like, and I hate to say it, but I think that's the reason why I had more guy friends growing up.
Yeah.
You know, like but then I always got, you know, in trouble for that too. Because then the women hated me because why are you wanting to be friends with my boyfriend? And it's like, I don't want your man. We're allowed to be fine, whatever. But as teenagers, it's always so much more dramatic, you know, than it should be. So yeah, like we'll judge each other. Well, if she wouldn't have just done that, I could have done this. If she would just stop wearing that, my man wouldn't have done this. If she wouldn't have drank that, she would. It's like you keep villainizing the victim over and over.
Yes.
And unfortunately, some of us bought it.
Yes.
We see it now, even.
Literally up
opinion.
until the last, 15 years, women have just stayed complacent. It's always been a little bit who have been vocal. But I feel like especially since The Handmaid's Tale came out, that's when everything with the female rage and shit just started going up. And then Roe v. Wade just tipped it over the top.
And I'm glad to see that it's not a partisan issue either. Like, I know it can be, but I feel like you have a wider majority of women, or just men, like voters in general. I don't want to just say it's just women, but there does seem to be more demand for women's rights in this country that it might not seem that way because they got stripped away. It's just, you know, powerful people got put in those positions where they could do that shit. And I would have kept with the P rhyming, but I couldn't think of any more words.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it does seem like that is a crucial voting point right now.
Because it is.
People want, you know, women to have their rights to their body.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we have or seem to have a majority of people like that in our country.
You look at,
you're right.
Like what we were just talking about with Kyrie, our first pregnancy, our first daughter. I mean, I was under 6 months, so she wasn't viable. I mean, her heartbeat was already gone anyway, but still, if that would have happened today, the risk of me dying is over 50-50 because I wouldn't have been able to get induced or have a DNC or anything like that in the state of Tennessee. Even though she was no longer viable, it would have been you have to keep her until your body passes her.
Or until you're about at death's door. It's almost like your health has to be in such dire straits from allowing this, I hate to say it, like this thing in your body that's it's just, I mean, you see the stories now.
Yeah.
And what makes
unfortunately,
what makes it even better was, I think you pointed this out, got to get my permission first to do something for your body. Yeah. I could give a fuck. If it saves her, you don't need my fucking permission. You don't need my fucking permission for anything involving her. It's her body, her life. Unless she is mentally incapacitated and cannot think for herself and has signed some agreement. No, not my call.
Yeah. I mean, we still have a lot of those laws in the books and stuff today. Like if your woman's unmarried and under 27, a lot of places won't even tie your tube still.
Yeah.
Well, you might change your mind. What if your husband wants kids?
That shit. Yeah, you might change your mind.
Stop telling me what I'm going to think.
Right?
I think I know more than you. I live in this brain. Okay?
I had that same conversation with a what do you call them? I'm gonna get it. They're the guys and they do the thing with the penis and they snip it and they got a name. They get their
the rabbis.
No.
Oh no,
the doctor. Rabbi. Thank you. No, that was good.
You talking about the one that did your vasectomy?
Yes. What are they called? What kind of doctor are they? Urologist. Urologist. There we go. The urologist. I went in. No, that was a good guess, Lace. Thank you so much.
I keep telling him.
I didn't
in my head.
I didn't specify doctor. That's on me.
Like snip is all I'm thinking. I'm like Circumcised.
I said that.
See?
I said that.
You
I
did.
keep telling you, you were meant to be Jewish.
I was. I said that. I've said this. Point being,
Oh God, I'm crying.
I went into had to have a consultation for this for
Procedure?
Yeah, for the
His
procedure.
vasectomy.
For vasectomy. That's what I was
Just-
trying
just
to say.
say it,
I couldn't
little
Well, I don't know why I was struggling to say it. I just hadn't got around to the word yet. But they were just like, well, you do realize what here's the. If you are you sure now? Are you sure? And I was like, sir, I have 5 children. I think I'm sure. Okay, I don't think I need any more.
I'm kind of surprised they even asked you. Maybe that's cynical of me. I would just assume they whatever he wants.
No. They just wanted to make sure. Now, they can reverse it, but you need to be very, very sure that you don't want to do this. And I was like, I'm sure. Pretty sure. Don't think I'm going to be having any more.
Yeah. Like, I'm good.
I'm good. And I think that should be everybody's.
I had my band.
I think that should be everybody's choice. If you say you're good, you're good. You don't want any children. You want your tubes touched. You want your dick cut. You're good. You have
want
that
my
choice.
whole
And you know what?
uterus vacated.
If I changed my mind later, that was on me.
It's on
Yes.
me. Exactly. I made that
Stop
decision.
making the call for me. Yeah.
And that's the part that I can't wrap my head around. We can make dumb decisions all the time that we're allowed to fucking make. And no one's going to stop us.
Yep.
But that's one that we can't make. A life decision.
Because it's rooted in religion. It has absolutely nothing to do with medical or the regrets or them being, terrified of lawsuits, because you have to sign paperwork.
Yeah,
You can't fucking sue them. So
Yeah.
it literally just comes from religion. The fact that you're a man and I'm a woman and we're supposed to fucking procreate.
And I think to punish women a little bit too.
Oh, 100%.
Because especially when you started seeing like these other when they were banning everything, of course, and they were banning the drugs that women could take to induce or to have an at home abortion or whatever.
Yep.
The only one they were wanting to ban, mind you, was the drug that would actually make her more comfortable. Not the one that would actually do the abortion, just the one that would have actually made it more comfortable for her to make it pass better. That was the drug they were after. Tell me that's religion. I don't know, maybe. But I think that was their way of going, and we're going to punish you for thinking you're not going to have these kids. Go ahead and have the abortion. But feel it.
Yeah. I can believe that.
I mean, the fact that a woman, even when she's having a miscarriage, we have procedures like a DNC where they can go in there, clean everything out, and she doesn't have to experience that trauma. But 99% of the time, you're literally just told, go home, you'll pass it. So you have to not only pass this, if you wanted it, it's your child. But you also have to do the unthinkable, which is flushing that child down the toilet. Because what the fuck else are you supposed to do?
Why are they trying to torture you over and over and over?
Because we have vaginas.
Because I mean, if you think about it, and I hope this isn't going to make anyone upset or anything, but like in that situation, especially like when I hear all these people talking about, they're just like killing babies right out the womb and stuff. Sorry, people, there's no like 12-month abortion going on here. Like, but like when a woman that far along has to make that decision, don't tell me you're going to go to her house and not see a fucking set up nursery.
Right.
Or a name picked out. Like they were going to have it. They wanted it. Yep. And now this tragic thing has happened and you're going to make her sit with it until it could possibly kill her.
Yep.
All the psychological fuckery here. You know what I mean? It's just, and you wonder why we break. And you wonder why we now have feminine rage songs.
Exactly. And it's sad because
I don't know if anyone was wondering, but
But it's not just for men. And that's coming back to the song, Don't Cry for Your Daughter's Eve. It's calling out the women just as much as it is the men and religion and everything else. They're like, you're no better. Like you're pushing it on to your children. You're pushing it on to your sisters, the young women in your life. Like you're no better. So somebody has to stop it. And I am so thankful that the younger generation our younger generations.
Yeah, to come. Keep
Our-
that rage.
Yes, keep that rage. Keep freaking fighting.
I mean, we shouldn't have to, but we're going to
We shouldn't. We shouldn't. I wish we could be like freaking France, where they put abortion rights in their constitution, but
We should.
they have a
Just
female
be-
president. We don't.
We're the only first world country that hasn't. Think about that for a minute, too.
That's
for a
a-
misogynistic country. Like, we look what we'd rather do.
I want to, yeah. Let's talk about that for just a brief second. Why is it that every progressive thing that we should be doing in this country, we're the ones who are not? Yet we want
Puritanical
to tout.
Christianism.
We always do. We want to tout.
1 Timothy 2:12. We are not allowed to lead or instruct a man, and we are to be quiet.
It always comes back to religion.
I'm just saying, well, look at how the States was founded, right? Like it's all this puritanical BS that for some reason now, even after all of this time, we keep like hanging our hat on, and we even wrote them into our Constitution and all this kind of garbage, So it's just like that. And you grow up in a country that promotes that over and over and over again. You believe that's how it is. I mean, any human being is going to adapt to what they're brought up in,
I agree.
right or wrong. You take on what you learn in those formidable years. You can change your mind. And believe me, it's called learning, not grifting. Let's put that out there. Not all the time anyway. But like you can learn something and go, oh, crap, I was wrong. And it's okay to change your mind on it.
But some people, in this country don't want to say that.
Well, that's
aloud.
called flip-flopping.
We can't do that. We can't have had a different opinion at some point. No.
Especially when you're looking at someone from 20 years ago. Are you saying you would rather have the same human being with the same thoughts and everything from 20 years ago still carrying that with them today, never changing their mind on anything? Like, what?
It's perfectly fine to grow.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's bounce to the next. We got 2 more songs to cover. I guess just go to Feminine Rage, since that's what we were talking about.
Yes, we were talking about that.
From Peggy. Tell me about this
song.
because you did play it.
It is it's so light compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
And I love it because it also points out women throughout history, both in mythology and not. And it poses the question, like, why do you think there's so much feminine rage? And it talks about, oh, good Lord, it talks about Eve. It talks about Medusa. It talks about
Athena.
I always say her name wrong. Persephone.
Persephone,
Oh,
yeah.
yep.
And just, I don't know. It's just another one of those that I don't feel like for me, it makes me emotional, like sad emotional, but it's just kind of like a fun little bop that I like to bop to. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck all of you.
Yeah, there's definitely a through line in all of these songs too.
Oh, yes.
Like you can tell which ones they were throughout history, because mostly all of them talk about villainizing the victim. Almost every single one of them has some play on that word, But yeah, I think this one really kind of pointed out more of like, oh, the hysteria women and how we took care of them, Like, did we need to chop off their heads? Or was it just because men were angry and wanted it done,
Yeah.
And like even burning people at the stake and stuff like that. Did you really think we were witches? I mean, like... Or did you keep feeling something in your nether regions and it kept you from like focusing on what you were supposed to? So now she's a witch because she knows how to do that to my body. And so she needs to die.
Yep.
And it really
You'd rather throughout history, men have just admitted they've had zero self-control and would rather kill us for it, is basically what I hear.
Which is why we choose the bear.
That is... Seriously, I remember when that was going on, people are like, why? And I'm like, well, 1, the bear may not attack her. And 2, they might believe her when she says the bear attacks her.
Fucking right. Or, the fact that if the bear does attack me, the worst it's going to do is just kill me.
Right. Just, isn't it sad? But yeah, like when I was seeing that, at first I went, oh, you know what though?
Right? Same.
Especially at the time the conversation was happening.
Yes. Once it clicked as to what exactly they were asking. Because obviously the first you think of is like a man that you're close to. But then
Sure.
when you go, oh, just any man
Mm-hmm.
out in the middle of the woods randomly.
Or like just
Abso-fucking-lutely
stranded on an
not.
island or however it was posed or whatever. They're
Yeah,
like,
just-
you would
just-
rather than with a man? And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, kind of.
Yeah, no.
I didn't get to pick which one, so I don't.
And to all the men who get upset, that's why they choose the bear.
Yes.
You're really upset, okay? Don't take it personal, buddy.
And if you are, think a minute.
Think a minute.
Just think
Yes.
a little longer why you're
Think a
upset.
minute. It's
In that
nothing
way.
personal. If you are not going to be the creep, you got nothing to worry about if you happen to run across a woman on an island. But if you are, you're the one getting angry right now. Just think about it. Nah, nah, nah.
Like, not even, like, I don't even know. The fact that, well, we were watching, it was Will Ferrell and what was her name?
Oh, Harper
Harmon-
Steele.
Harper.
Yeah, we watched Will and Harper over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
where-
I
about
don't know if I know this
Will
one.
Will Ferrell had a friend. Well, still has a friend. But they went by the name Andrew Steele. When they worked at Saturday Night Live together, they were like really close. They did a lot of different sketches together, wrote a lot of popular sketches for Will. And
okay.
then I guess during the pandemic, Andrew realized they were not, they needed to make a change, and apparently had been struggling with this all their lives. But
Like
no one
dysphoria?
just knew that they were a woman deep down.
Oh, okay.
And apparently had even bought like a house out in the middle of just the worst fucking parts of California. I can't even remember the name of the fucking town, but it looked dead. And she would go out there and dress up just to feel normal
Sure.
because
Okay.
this is the only place she knew how to do that. So eventually made the transition. And then the documentary is pretty much reconnecting with Will after this transition and trying to understand what that is now, because she doesn't feel comfortable in her skin anymore, like going out and just doing regular things. And that's kind of what Will was there for, is like, help me go through the country to the places that I like to go to and try to get comfortable with just being out and about as a woman now.
It wasn't that she didn't so much feel comfortable, she didn't feel safe.
Safe. That was the other part of
Yes.
it too. Yeah. And what was you had, and I'm so glad they didn't sugarcoat it, because there were moments where you'd see, like they went to what was it, a NASCAR race or something like that.
It was a basketball game, wasn't it?
Well, remember there was a race car.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, it was
NASCAR or
some
something
kind
like
of
that.
race.
Said she was a real big fan. Used to come here a lot before she transitioned, and wasn't sure. Talking to regular people in the stands, and they were just like, "No, it's fine. Come here, have fun. It'll be fine." Nice thing, You have. I think I even said to Katrina in that moment, it gave me a little sense of hope in humanity, that people can be good if they really want to be. And then you go to another bit where they went to a fancy restaurant, got all dolled up and everything. And then, of course, people got on fucking social media. Who the fuck is that with Will Ferrell? What is that sitting next to Will Ferrell? All over fucking Twitter. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. So then I lose that fucking hope, because people are garbage, because they can't do it to your face. They have to fucking sit behind their goddamn computer and insult you, because that's fucking cowardice. And it's beautiful. And like, even Will in that moment, he was sitting there and he felt terrible, because he felt like he had set her up, like to be a target. And he fucking broke down and cried about this, feeling terrible.
Well, how do you not like watching your friend go through that?
But
Unwarranted hate.
but
like,
that's-
what was she hurting?
Yeah, and that was the
Literally.
beauty of it. It was just watching him process it and just be like, I want people to understand. I just don't get it. And there was that conversation, the process. Who is it hurting? The fuck is it hurting? Nobody. Just shut your mouth, mind your fucking business, and go about your day.
Yeah. Have your dinner. You don't have to go sit with them. No one's making you date them or
Nope.
be friends with them or anything. You're inserting yourself in that situation for what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For internet points?
Yeah.
Like,
But-
I mean,
The reason
don't
I
know.
brought it up is because she now, as a trans woman, has a different perspective, because even if somebody sees her and they automatically think, oh, she's trans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, yes, she can feel like she's not safe because of that. But I also feel like it's her as a woman and going across country as a woman or presenting herself as a woman, that if somebody looks at her as a woman and is like, oh, that's a lady and I'm going to go do this, like, that's just as terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I brought it up, is because I think it's a very unique perspective when it comes to trans people, because you have, like I said, a lot of the younger ones, you can't tell. There are certain trans men who 100% look like they were always a man.
Absolutely.
And same
I mean,
with
it
women.
goes both ways.
Yes,
I've seen
exactly.
it like they put in that work they pass.
Yes.
I wouldn't know.
Great
know.
example. I can't remember her name right offhand, but there was an actress who was on Supergirl, played a
Yes.
character, Dreamer.
Oh, yeah.
Like
She's trans and
If-
she is gorgeous. I love her so much.
if they had not made that a point of the character,
No,
And
some
even
of them,
when
they
they
take
did-
that much time to like go through
Oh,
it
yeah.
and unfortunately medicalize surgeries. Like,
yeah, it's.
yeah.
I mean that's mind-boggling.
I know it
but,
kind
I
of
mean, you
boggles
just-
my mind too, especially when you see like the before and after. I'm like, wow, science really has come along, man. Because like,
But I
Right?
think that's beautiful, though, that we have gotten to a point where we can allow these people to be the person they feel like they are.
Yes.
You know, because I think that was a lot of the touchstones that they talked about with Will and Harper, is like her voice, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guy's voice. And they even talked to another trans person who kind of went through that same thing, had started a little later in life, got a real deep voice, you know, very Texan, looks like a woman, but has a man's voice. And she said there was a point in time, it was like, who cares? You know, it's my voice. I can't change it. I'm not going to try to, it's just, people are going to have to get over it. It's their problem, not mine. This is my voice.
Kathleen
I can't
Turner
help
made it work.
That's right.
I think anyone can.
That's right.
Well, you look at, and I feel like it doesn't even come down to a voice, because you have I can't word today. You have women.
Don't worry. That's a problem we have.
Well, like
They're used to it on the pod.
the bearded lady. There have been various bearded ladies throughout history. There are plenty of women in the world right now who suffer from PCOS, which is why there are bearded women who are suffering at home in silence. But when you have those women who come out, they can have very feminine features. They can have very feminine voices. They just have a beard. But it's automatically, oh, are you a man? Are you a woman? Like, I'm
especially
confused because you
today.
have facial hair.
Yeah.
Right? And it's sad, because I can remember being one of those women that thought that about those women. And now, as a woman,
Well, we were
who has
brought
had
up
a child,
in the church.
yeah,
I'm not shocked.
but it's even not having those
if
things
you would have met me
explained.
25, 30 years ago, we wouldn't be friends. I'm a totally different person.
Same.
I'm not 100%. Like,
But that's called growth. That's what people
20
are
years
supposed
ago,
to
me
do.
would be canceled.
Yes.
You know? But yes, exactly. I don't know. You meet new people. You start talking to people who maybe aren't exactly like you. You move away and you go, oh, maybe what just that dude tells me on TV over and over isn't exactly what's going on out here in the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, according to all y'all, I should be dodging bullets every day I leave my house.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not even in the top 10 most dangerous cities for guns in the country. Do a little research. Every time I hear, well, Chicago, I'm like, oh, you haven't taken in new information in over a decade. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that right
It's
there is
basically
my
what you
mom.
just outed yourself as. Look
So,
it up. I actually challenge you all to do it. I'm very confident in it. Anyway. Feminine rage,
what about this
which you're hearing a lot of.
What about this last song? Unless there was anything more out of Feminine Rage, the song.
Oh,
wanted
did
to
you
touch
have
on.
anything else out of it, Lace?
Well, I mean, like I said, a lot of them was with that through line and things there with that because, and it kind of went into more about like how we just like gaslight the women into thinking that this is the correct way or how it is, when she's talking about these women throughout histories and with the situation. Is this the one where they were talking about like Athena went crazy or whoever went crazy, but the
Athena
guy killed
Medusa.
her dad in front of her? So she's crazy. Like, did like throughout history, did they just think those things didn't affect people? Or, I don't know why they always thought like our brains had to work different.
I mean,
you're women. You're not a man.
We're women's.
They still don't
All that
understand
estrogen.
female anatomy, though.
I don't know. But I mean, that one was just like where you start thinking throughout history where you're like all the hysteria or all this kind of stuff. It's like, it does break my heart for those women who lived in those times. Cause especially like, who are you going to go talk to? Like maybe you had other women you could probably go talk to if you weren't like, if you were allowed. I mean, I don't even know how strict it all got, but you like literally had to suffer all that internally alone.
Yeah.
It just breaks your heart. I mean, I know we have a lot of that now, even still, even though you can see the progress that's been made on it. But like, think about that for a minute, Like the only thing you did, quote unquote, wrong is be born a feminine, a woman, whatever, like something no one had any control over, just as much control as you had over being a man or being white or anything like that. This is just, we didn't ask to be born or anything. This is just how it was. And then we've learned to try to hate each other all for it and put us in classes and systems and, I don't know. I think it's a human problem though too, because I still think if women were the bigger, stronger sex, we probably would have done it to the men. Because I just see it with racism around, where I see things like flipped and reversed. I'm like, oh, it's a human problem. We just like to have power over other humans.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's.
I mean, I hate to say it that way, but I just think we would always find a reason to oppress another group if it meant I could build myself up in some way.
No, that's accurate. So, Cry Evil. It's the last song you had on your list.
Yes.
Explain.
That one had a fun video though too.
Oh, I haven't watched the video for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just there to be pretty and watch her walk around in a really rockin' red dress while she fucking does her screaming, but it was still kind of like, oh, all right, yeah,
So what is this one?
I mean, this one, again, is about basically what all the other ones are. About how women are treated in society. And when we get even the smallest amount of power or the smallest amount of voice, the men who, run the country just push us right back down or find a way to silence us.
Which is very funny because I feel like that's happening right now in this country with a very powerful woman trying to do something, trying to get a job or something, She's
taking
a
a man's
crazy
job.
cat lady.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
She
What
might-
investment would she have?
I don't know. I know she's looking for black jobs. That seems to be a thing.
Oh, but you know what, though? I think he had a black job, if I remember it right.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
Like, who had it before him? I'm just trying to remember.
It's a very hard story to follow. I mean, I'm
really is.
really not having. I know there's couches and
We should have
Minnesota.
documented this stuff or something so we would learn later. I don't know. It would have been nice, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really pay much attention to politics or whatever. I know there's stuff happening with Russia's or
With the
Korea's
Russias.
or whatever. I don't know.
And all those
Anyway,
we don't need Burka. We don't need
it. So yeah,
But
so
yes.
this does nothing different, unique outside of any of the others. I guess that's what I was trying to break down with this one, like for each
like
one.
how it
Was
was
there
changed.
something like the approach to it any different, or how they did
I mean,
their
I
story?
feel like the musically it is a little different than the other ones, but again, they're all different.
It's like they picked one thing that like all of us could probably relate to and kind of talked about it, I think, at different lengths in each song. Like, I think this one, like, you're right, it's still more of an anthem of, oh, he's going to make us do this, that, or the other, and we're just going to have to rage. Like, I did bring it up because I think this was the one I was thinking of, a therapist, a mother, and a maid for him. was like one of the lines in there where it's like, it kind of takes you back to where you have to be the comforter. You have to be the one in charge of the household. You've got to make sure it works and make sure, he's fine or whatever. And, people are in those situations probably still. But she brings it around. Hell hath no fury like the woman you scorned. Mm-hmm. And then kind of goes into that and like, yep. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like the way she outroed it was like, we got this now, bitches.
Yes, and that's one of the things I wanted to read.
Let's go.
I wanted to read a little thing from her that she put on her page about this song specifically.
Okay.
And all she says is, it was written as a fierce and bold reclamation of my anatomy at a time when my rights to my own body is under threat. I declare the feminine as lethal, and ultimately must cry evil.
Yeah. I was wondering if like some of these had come about over the last like 2-3 years.
Yes.
Since...
Like the I know that Peggy, Delilah, I think even Paris, which it did say Paris had I think she had an album come out in 2020 or 2022.
Okay.
So still within the last few years.
We saw the writing on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I feel like I'll find one and I'm like, oh, this is such a good song, added to playlist. And then I'll find like 3 more by the next week because all these women are just making feminine rage music. And you can even look up on YouTube feminine rage playlists and it has like all kinds of different freaking songs.
There you go. Yeah.
If you want, I can link to all of these or a playlist down below.
Yeah.
So people can have like easy access to it. So you know how, if you want to listen to any of these, I'll make sure to have the names, the titles, or what have you. So if you want to dabble, now I don't know how many of our audience members, I know we've talked about, we have a very diverse audience. So
we do, yes.
Some of our audience members may not be interested, but I would recommend you check it out. Even if you're not 100% sure, it might make you feel something. You know what I mean? Might make you think.
I mean, if you take the time to like sit down and like bring up the lyrics if you have to and just read them and feel that along with them. Because, I mean, especially when you get to Delilah Bond, you feel the rage she has.
Oh, yes.
I believe how angry she is. I mean, same,
Right.
But I don't know. There's just one thing you could tell with all of these songs, and you could probably, and this is something that is sad, but you could probably go to any female in their life and go, this, and you'll be, like how many of us got blamed for something that happened to us? I bet I can't find a woman alive who doesn't have a story or 2 or more to tell you about that, and that is one through line that I see through here. And just like, think about that, like what it feels like to have something wrong to you and you get grilled as to why it happened. And this is why we say nothing.
And I would even say, if you listen to one of these songs and you feel something as a man, think about that for a second. There's a reason that has triggered something in you, and hopefully it triggers a negative response in the sense of you feel protective. Because
that's wrong.
Yeah, if you feel protective of a woman, it can be any woman. It could be your mother. It could be your sister. It could be your aunt, whoever, your daughter. Mm-hmm. Whatever woman is in your life, if you have a woman in your life, these songs should affect you in some way. They should hit you in some way. Mm-hmm. If they don't, then you might need to assess you. That's all I'm going to say.
Maybe you're a Timothy 2:12 kind of guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if y'all have got nothing else to say about these songs, this music, anything you want to add?
I mean, there's still so many good feminine rage songs out there for anybody who wants to discover any. I know that not all of them, like Peggy, not all of her music is just about feminine rage. She does a lot of music about having ADHD and just other mental.
Maybe I should check her out a little more then.
You should. Her song "Mess" is amazing.
Okay.
And all of her
I
music's,
did
like,
want to
really
kind of go
light.
back through some of them, you know,
Yeah.
and see. And that's when I saw Delilah Bond, that I Wish a Bitch Would, apparently is in The Gentleman in the Netflix series. Not the movie. Because like when I saw that, I was like, really? So I was trying to look up the scene in the movie that had the song, but it was like the series. And I went, oh, either way, grats, you know? So she got
That's
featured
awesome.
because I saw the video on her page where she's like, that's right. You know, like she was all excited because her song got sold to it or whatever, which is exciting. Come on,
Yeah.
you know?
Heck yeah.
Especially if you're an
It's
indie
super
artist like
exciting.
that, you know? But yeah, like just hers was probably the most different, I think, out of all of them.
Yes.
Like Cry Evil, the Aluka might have been, I would still say like a rung below, you know, but still more, you know. But yeah, Delilah, man, you just, yes, I hear it. I feel you. Wish a bitch would, you know, like you gotta rage with it. So I recommend it. If you just, especially if you're like in that day, you're just like, I've really gotta fucking let it go, you know. Put it on.
Oh, yeah, it's my
Headbang.
angry music.
Let your rage flow. Go.
Siblings.
Cathartic.
Siblings, do you have, or are you familiar with feminine rage music? Have you listened to it? Are you a fan? Is this something new you're
Suggestions?
discovering? Yeah. Let us know at social media at Super Mega Crash. And if you need a break from feminine rage rock or music, because it can be a lot.
It can be a lot.
It can be a
I
lot.
don't recommend like an all day long listening, you know.
Unless you need it. Unless you need to be in a zone, man. I'm not going to stop you. But if you need a palate cleanser, I'm going to recommend Saint Motel. There's a new band that I've discovered.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are so pure. They are so pure.
Yeah.
I love their music. Just as
It's
a
very
palate
chill.
cleanser. Yeah, very chill.
It's very chill.
Follow us on social medias wherever at Super Mega Crash. You know the drill. We're everywhere on Super. You know the thing.
We know, you know what we are. We don't.
We do a
But
thing.
you do.
We got emails at supermegacrash@gmail.com. We got Patreons, Pencil Paper Productions. We got, we would like more 5-star reviews on these podcasting apps we keep hearing about. And I know some people out there have done that thing, and we appreciate it. But if
do.
more of you, because we see your numbers out there.
We see you listening. Thank
we
you.
see you. All of you. And not all of you have given us the 5 stars, but that's okay. It's okay.
This is when we pull the YouTube thing. I see how many of you are watching and you have not subscribed and liked.
It's
you know,
guilt
it's like,
trips. That's what
It's
we're
like you just show up in my feed, dude. I don't need to.
It's just a click of a button. It doesn't matter to me, honestly.
Yeah, anyway, the
just,
tangents again.
we're here. You're listening. We appreciate it nonetheless. So keep up with any and all things over at pencilpaperproductions.com/supermegacrash. Links are in the show notes down below. And join us again next week, siblings. But until then, get your feminine rage on and go beyond your limits.
Why are you hanging on so tight to the rope that I'm hanging from? Off this island, this was an escape plan. Carefully timed it, so let me go and dive into the waves below. Who turns the oars? Who fixes up the cables? Emotional torture from the heavy high table. Who fetches the water from the Rocky Mountain spring and walk back down again to feel your words and their sharp sting? And I'm getting fucking tired. The capillaries in my eyes are bursting. If all love died, would that be the worst thing? For somebody I thought was my savior, sure maybe do a whole lot of labor. The callous skin on my hands is cracking. If our love ends, would that be a bad thing? And the silence haunts our bed chamber. You made me do too much labor. Too much labor. Apologies for my tongue. I never used. Busy lapping from flowing cup and stabbing with your fork. I know you're a smart man. And a weapon false incompetence. It's dominance under a guy. If we had a daughter, I'd watch and could not save her. The emotional torture from the head of your high table. She'd do what you taught her. She'd meet the same cruel fate. So now I've gotta run so I can undo this mistake. At least I've gotta try. Vocabularies in my eyes are bursting. If our love died, would that be the worst thing? For somebody I thought was my savior, you sure make me do a whole lot of labor. The callous skin on my hands is cracking. If our love ends, would that be a bad thing? And the silence once I bet chamber, you make me do too much labor. All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her, you make me do too much labor. All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her, you make me do too much labor. Little days in your eyes are bursting. If I love her, then it's bursting. Just an appendage, live to a savior, sure that he never a whole lot of labor. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out and his picket fence dreams. It's not a silence, also you shake her, you make me do too much labor.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.